Hello, welcome to our channel Learn to Score. In this video, I am going to discuss exercise 3 of 10th class real numbers chapter. I hope you will like the video. Please subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Thank you. Question number 1 is write the following rational numbers in their decimal form and also state which are terminating and which have non-terminating repeating decimal. We are given total 5 rational numbers and we are asked to write these numbers in their decimal form and also state whether they are terminating decimals or non-terminating but repeating decimals. Got it? Let's start with the first problem, that is 3 by 8. Let's write 3 as 3.0000 and so on and draw a line as shown here and mark 8 as shown here. The method we are going to use to get the decimal form of the given rational number is called long division method. So look at this. 3 is smaller than 8, right? That's why let me write 0 times 8 is 0. So when I subtract 0 from 3, then what I get is 3, right? Now we have a dot here. Means we have to put a dot in the quotient part also. Let me do that. Then I can bring this 0 down. When I do that, 3 becomes 30, right? Now 3 times 8 is 24. Let me subtract 24 from 30. When I do that, I get 6 as the answer, right? Now let me bring another 0 down. 6 becomes 60 and 7 times 8 is 56. Let's subtract 56 from 60 so that I have 4 as the remainder. And now let me bring 0 down so that 4 becomes 40. We know 5 times 8 is 40. When you subtract 40 from 40, you have remainder 0, right? Since the remainder is 0, we can say that this is a terminating decimal, right? 3 by 8 can be written as 0.375. It is called a terminating decimal. One reason for that is the remainder is 0. And other thing you can say is after 5, the digit, there is no other digit. That's why we can say that 0.375 is a terminating decimal. Got it? Now let's look at the second part of the problem, that is 229 divided by 400, right? We have to write this particular rational number in its decimal form. For that, let me write 229 as 229.000 and so on. And let me divide that with 400 using the long division method. You see 229 is smaller than 400, right? That's why what I do is 0 times 400 is 0. Let me subtract that from 229. When I do that, I get 229 as the answer, right? Now you see we have a dot here. It means we have to put a dot in the quotient part also. Now let me bring this particular 0 down so that it becomes 2290, right? Now 5 times 400 is 2000. Let me subtract that. When I subtract that, I get 290 as the remainder. Let me bring another 0 down so that it becomes 2900, right? 7 times 400 is 2800. Let me subtract that from 2900. So I have 100 here, right? Let me bring another 0 down. 100 becomes 1000 and 2 times 400 is 800. Let me subtract that. So I have now 200 as the remainder. Let me bring another 0 down. So 2000. 5 times 400 is 2000, right? When I subtract 2000 from 2000, I have 0 as the remainder. Since 0 is the remainder, I can say that the given rational number is going to have a terminating decimal. Let's write that. 229 divided by 400 is 0.5725. It is a terminating decimal. Please note this. Now let's look at the third part of the problem, that is 4 1 by 5. That can be written as 4 times 5 plus 1 divided by 5, right? That is 21 by 5. So we have to convert this into decimal form, right? first. Let's do that. 21 is written as 21.000 and so on. Let me divide that with 5 in the long division method. When I do that, you see 4 times 5 is 20. Let me subtract 20 from 21. So what I have is 1, right? Now let me put dot here because we have dot here. After that, let me bring 1 0 down. So 1 has become now 10. So 2 times 5 is 10. Let me subtract that. Then I have 0 as the remainder. It means the decimal is going to be a terminating decimal, right? Let's write that. 4 1 by 5 equal to 21 by 5, that is equal to 4.2 is a terminating decimal. Got it? Now let's look at 2 by 11. Let me write 2 as 2.000 and so on. And let's divide that with 11 using long division method. Look at this. 2 is a smaller number than 11, right? That's why what I do is 0 times 11 is 0. Let me subtract that from 2 so that I have 2 as the remainder. And then we come across dot. It means we have to put a dot here. Let's do that. Now let me bring first 0 down. No. Then it becomes 20. 1 times 11 is 11. Let me subtract. Then I have 9 as a remainder. Then let me bring another 0 down. When you do that, 9 becomes 90. 8 times 11 is 88. Let me subtract that from 90. So I have 2 as a remainder. Bring another 0 down. Then it becomes 20. 1 times 11, subtract that, you have 9 as the remainder. Bring another 0 down, it becomes 90. 8 times 11 is 88. You subtract that, you have 2 again. Look at this. Here we have 9. We have 2 here, right? Then we got 9 and 2. It means it is going to repeat like this, right? For that reason, we stop here, okay, and write it as 2 by 11 equal to 0.1818 and so on. When I put these 3 dots, it means that it is going to continue forever, right? That can also be written as 0.18 with overbar on 18. When I write overbar on 18 as shown here, it means that these two digits 1 and 8 are going to repeat in a periodic manner. 18, 18, 18, 18, 18 and so on. And look at this, the remainder is not going to be 0. It is still some number, right? That's why we say that the decimal is non-terminating and repeating decimal. Of course, here itself we are seeing the repeating decimal. The reason for non-terminating, when you say, the remainder is not 0. If remainder is 0, then the decimal is called terminating decimal, right? Got it? Now let's look at the last part of the problem, that is 8 by 125. Let me write 8 as 8.0000 and so on. And let's divide that with 125 using the long division method. Look at this. 8 is a smaller number than 125, right? Let me write 0 times 125 equal to 0. When I subtract that from 8, I have 8. Now we have dot here, means we have to put a dot here. Let's do that. Then bring first 0 down, right? This has become 80. Look at this. 80 is also smaller than 125, right? So now what I'm going to do is 0 times 125. Let me put 0 there. And 0 times 125 is 0. Let me subtract that from 80. When I do that, I have 80 as the remainder. Now let me bring another 0 down. When I do that, it becomes 800, right? Now 6 times 125, that is 750. Let's subtract that from 800. When I do that, I have 500. Now let me bring another 0 down. So 50 becomes 500 and 4 times 125 is 500. When you subtract that from 500, what you have is 0 as the remainder. Since 0 is the remainder, you say that it is a terminating decimal, right? Let's write that. 8 by 125 equal to 0.064 is a terminating decimal. Got it? Question number 2. Without actually performing division, state whether the following rational numbers will have a terminating decimal form or a non-terminating but repeating decimal form. We are given total 10 problems or 10 rational numbers. We are asked to say whether the decimal expansion of these numbers are going to be terminating decimals or non-terminating but repeating decimals, right? Let's start with the first one. 13 divided by 3125, 3125, right? You may recall the theorem you learned in this chapter that says that let x equal to p by q be a rational number. It means x can be written as p by q, where p and q are integers. That's why x is a rational number. Okay, such that the prime factorization of q is of the form 2 power n 5 power m. You see, we are looking at the prime factorization of the denominator q. Please note this. If that is in the form 2 power n and times 5 power m, where n and m are non-negative integers, then x has a decimal expansion which terminates. You understood the theorem? X equal to p by q is a rational number. If the prime factorization of q is in the form of 2 power n times 5 power m, then the decimal expansion of x is going to terminate. Okay, please note here that n and m are non-negative integers. When I say that n can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, anything. M can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, anything, right? Those are non-negative integers. Please note that at the same time, n and m cannot be both zeros, right? Okay, keep that in mind. Let's start with prime factorization of the denominator for the first problem. The denominator is 3125, right? Let's do prime factorization of this. It can be written as 5 times 625, right? Here 5 is the prime number and 625 is the composite number. Let's write 625 now as 5 times 125, and 125 can be written as 5 times 25, and 25 can be written as 5 times 5. If you look at this, you can say that 3125 is equal to 5 power 5, right? Is it looking in the form of 2 power n 5 power m? Yes, it is looking. When I write 2 power n as 2 power 0 and then 5 power m as 5 power 5, this is equal to 3125, right? Since it is in this form and where n and m are non-negative integers, 0 is non-negative integer and 5 is also non-negative integer, right? It means, as per this theorem, we can say that the decimal expansion of the given number is going to terminate. Let's write that. 3125 can be written as 2 power 0 and 5 power times 5 power 5. Therefore, we can say that 13 by 3125 is a terminating decimal. Got it? Now let's look at the next part of the problem, that is 11 by 12. We have to see the denominator, whether denominator can be expressed in the form of 2 power n times 5 power m or not. So 12 can be written as 2 times 6 and 6 can be written as 2 times 3, right? It means 12 equal to 2 square times 3. Look at this. We have 2 square and I can say that 5 power 0 is there, but interestingly we have 3 power 1 here. The prime factorization is different from 2 power n 5 power m. It has 3 power 1 also. That's why what we have to do is look at the numerator. Numerator is 11. It is already a prime number, right? It cannot be divided with 3 power 1. For that reason, we can simply say that 11 by 12, the denominator of 11 by 12, the denominator of 11 by 12 is 12. That can be written as 2 square times 3 power 1. Since it cannot be expressed in the form of 2 power n times 5 power m, we say that 11 by 12 is a non-terminating and repeating decimal. Got it? Now let's look at the third part of the problem, that is 64 divided by 455. So let's find the prime factors of 455, whether they are in the form of 2 power n 5 power m or not. We have to first check, right? For that, let me write 455 as 5 times 91, and 91 can be written as 7 times 13. You look at this. 455 equal to 5 times 7 times 13. I can say that 2 power 0 is there times 5 power 1 is there, but we have 7 power 1 and 13 power 1 also, right? 7 times 13 is something extra you have in the denominator. It cannot be also cancelled with 64, right? Because 64 is not having either 7 or 13 as the factors. For that reason, let me say that 455, that is the denominator of given ratio, it can be written as 5 times 7 times 13, which is not in the form of 2 power n 5 power m. That's why we say that 64 divided by 455 is a non-terminating and repeating decimal. Got it? Now let's look at the next part of the problem, 15 by 1600. Let's write prime factors of 1600. 1600 can be written as 2 times 800. That can be written as 2 times 400. That can be written as 2 times 200. That can be written as 2 times 100. 100 is equal to 2 times 50. 50 equal to 2 times 25. And 25 equal to 5 times 5. So when you write the prime factors for 1600, you will be writing it as 2 power 6 times 5 power 2, right? You may recall that we were able to express the denominator 1600 in the form of 2 power n 5 power m, right? Where n equal to 6 and m equal to 2. For that reason, we can say that the given ratio, that is 15 divided by 1600, is a terminating decimal. Got it? Now let's go to the next part of the problem, that is 29 divided by 343. Let's write prime factors for 343 first. 343 can be written as 7 times 49, and 49 can be written as 7 times 7, right? 343 equal to 7 cube. We have numerator 29. 29 cannot be divided with 7 cube, so that you get rid of 7 in the denominator, right? That possibility is not there. For that reason, what I say is the denominator, when you express the denominator 343 in the form of its prime factors, what you get is 7 cube. It is not in the form of 2 power n 5 power m, right? For that reason, let me say that 29 divided by 343 is a non-terminating and repeating decimal. Please note this. Now let's look at the next part of the problem. That is 23 divided by 2 cube 5 square times 5 square, right? The denominator is already in the required form. It is in the form of 2 power n 5 power m, right? For that reason, what I can say is, since the denominator is in the form of 2 power 3 and 5 power 2, which is equal to n equal to 3 and m equal to 2, I can say that 23 divided by 2 cube times 5 square is a terminating decimal. Got it? Let's look at the next part of the problem. That is 129 divided by 2 square times 5 power 7 times 7 power 5, right? The denominator cannot be expressed in the form of this. You have 7 power 5 extra, right? We could say that n equal to 2, m equal to 5, but we have something extra, that is 7 power 5, right? For that reason, what I can say is Since the denominator has excess 7 power 5, we say that it is a non-terminating and repeating decimal. The 129 divided by 2 square times 5 power 7 times 7 power 5 is a non-terminating and repeating decimal. Got it? Now let's look at this 9 by 15. We know that actually, if you look at 15, simply you can say that 15 equal to 5 times 3, right? You have 3 extra. So you may say that, okay, I cannot express this as 2 power n 5 power m. Don't do that. You observe even what is the numerator. The numerator is 9, right? That can be written as 3 times 3 as shown here. So now if I express 15 as 5 times 3, then I can cancel these 2 3's, right? Now what I have is 3 by 5, right? Look at this. The denominator is only 5, right? It means I can write it as 2 power 0 times 5 power 1, right? For that reason, I can say that since the denominator is 5, we can say that 9 by 15 equal to 3 by 5 is a terminating decimal. Got it? Now let's look at the next part of the problem, that is 36 by 100. Let's look at the prime factors of 100. 100 can be written as 2 square times 5 square, right? It is in the required form. It is in the form of 2 power n 5 power m, right? So we can straight away say that 36 by 100 is a terminating decimal. Got it? Now let's look at the next part of the problem, that is 77 divided by 210. Let's look at the prime factors of 210, right? That is the denominator q. So we have to see whether it can be expressed in the form of 2 power n 5 power m or not. 210 can be written as 2 times 105. 105 can be written as 3 times 35, and 35 can be written as 5 times 7, right? Look at this. We can write it as 2 times 3 times 5 times 7, right? You have 3 as a factor extra and 7 as a factor extra. Now what I'm going to do is, let me look at the numerator also. That is 77, right? That can be written as 7 times 11. So you see, here I have 7, here I have 7, I can cancel. Now the numerator has become 11, but the denominator has extra 3. You cannot further simplify it, right? Since the denominator has got extra 3, we say that 77 by 210, which can be expressed as 11 divided by 2 times 3 times 5, is a non-terminating and repeating decimal. Got it? Question number 3. Write the following rationals in the decimal form using theorem 1.1. We are given total 5 rational numbers. We are asked to write them in their decimal form using the theorem 1.1. Let's take a look at the first problem, that is 13 by 25. That can be written as 13 by 5 square, right? Let's quickly recall the theorem. Let x equal to p by q be a rational number such that the prime factorization of q is of the form 2 power n 5 power m, where n and m are non-negative integers. Then x has a decimal expansion which terminates, right? As per this theorem, if the denominator can be expressed as 2 power n 5 power m, then the given rational number can be expressed in the decimal form which terminates, right? Now look at this. We have denominator 5 square, right? I can write 25 as 5 square, right? That I can write as 5 square times 2 power 0, right? It is in the form of 2 power n 5 power m, where n equal to 0 and m equal to 2, right? For that reason, I can say that 13 by 25 is going to be a terminating decimal. When you write the decimal expansion for 13 by 25, it is going to be a terminating decimal. Now let's learn to write that. 13 by 25 equal to 13 by 5 square, right? Let me multiply both numerator 13 and denominator 5 square with 2 square. Why are we doing this? You look at this. The denominator now I have is 5 square times 2 square, right? I can write it as 5 times 2 whole square. It means 10 square. That is equal to 100, right? If I have something like 100, 1000, 10 in the denominator, it's fairly easy for me to write the decimal form, right? For that reason, we are multiplying both numerator and denominator with 2 square, right? Let's simplify this. 13 times 2 square can be written as 13 times 4, and 5 square times 2 square is 10 square, right? 13 times 4 is 52 and 10 square is 100. 52 divided by 100 is 0.52. Got it? We have two zeros. When you cancel those two zeros, we'll be putting, for example, you have like this, right? You cancel these two zeros and put a dot here. And for completeness sake, let me write 0 in front of dot. So you have 0.52. That is the decimal form, right? Now let's look at 15 by 16. 16 can be written as 2 power 4, right? And you may recall the theorem. It says that if the denominator can be expressed as 2 power n 5 power m, then the decimal expansion is going to be terminating, right? 2 power 4 times, I can write it as 5 power 0. 16 can be written as 2 power 4 times 5 power 0, right? You look at this. You said that n and m are non-negative integers. It means I can have n or m as 0. This is non-negative integer only, right? So since we could express 16, which is the denominator of the given rational number, in the form of 2 power n 5 power m, we can now say that 15 by 16 is a terminating decimal. For such decimals or for such ratios, we can quickly write the decimal expansion following the procedure we have learned just now. You have 2 power 4 in the denominator, right? Let me multiply both numerator and denominator of this particular number with 5 power 4. Why are we doing this? Actually, I want to have denominator as multiples of 100, right? 2 power 4 times 5 power 4 is 2 times 5 whole power 4, that is 10 power 4. We want to have 10 power 1, 10 power 2, 10 power 3, something like that, okay? Since already we have 2 power 4 here, we multiply with 5 power 4 such that it becomes 10 power 4. The denominator now becomes 10 power 4. To compensate for that, we have to multiply the numerator also with 5 power 4, right? So this can be now simplified and written as 15 times 625 divided by 10 power 4. 15 times 625 is 9,375. That divided by 10,000. You cross all these 4 zeros and put dot before 4 digits. That's why you get answer 0.9375. 15 by 16 is 0.9375, right? Now let's look at the next part of the problem. That is 23 divided by 2 cube times 5 square, right? This is already in the form expected, right? 2 power n 5 power m. That's why we can say that 23 divided by 2 power 3 times 5 power 2 is a terminating decimal, right? Now let's write the decimal expansion for this. 23 divided by 2 cube times 5 square. If you want to convert this into 10 cube, what you have to do is you have to multiply both numerator and denominator with 5. Let's do that. 23 times 5, and this is 2 cube times 5 square times 5. Now the denominator you are going to have is 10 cube, right? And the numerator is 115. So 115 divided by 1000, that is equal to 0.115. Got it? Now let's look at the next part of the problem. That is 7218 divided by 3 square times 5 square. As per the theorem we have learnt, the denominator cannot have something like 3 square, right? Because we want to have 2 power n, 5 power m only. Then only it is easy for us to convert the given rational number in the decimal form, right? But the given number here has 3 square in the denominator. Now what I want to do is I want to see whether 7218, that is 7218, whether this has 3 square as the factor. Let's check that. For that, let me write the prime factors for 7218. That can be written as 2 times 3609, and that can be written as 3 times 1203. That can be written as 3 times 401. 401 is also a prime number, right? Look at this. 7218 can be written as 2 times 3 times 3 times 401. It means you have 3 square in the numerator also, right? Let me write that. 7218 divided by 3 square times 5 square now can be written as 2 times 3 square times 401 divided by 3 square times 5 square. Let me cancel these two. Now what I have is 2 times 401 divided by 5 square. This is in the form of 2 power n, 5 power m, right? 2 power 0 and 5 power 2. The denominator, if you look at, that is 5 square, that can be written as 2 power 0 times 5 power 2, right? Since it is in this form, I can say that the given rational number is going to have a terminating decimal, right? When you have a terminating decimal, it is fairly easy for us to write the decimal form. For that, what we are going to do is, let me write 7218 divided by 3 square times 5 square as 2 times 401 divided by 5 square. Now let me multiply both the denominator and numerator with 2 square. Okay, why are we doing this? When I do multiply 5 square with 2 square, I am going to get the denominator as 10 square, right? For that reason, we are doing it. 802 divided times 2 square divided by 5 square times 2 square, right? That can be written as 802 times 4 divided by 10 square, that is equal to 3208 divided by 100. 2 zeros here, that's why you put dot after 2 digits from the left, right? 32.08. So the answer is 7218 divided by 3 square times 5 square is 32.08. We could do this with the help of theorem 1.1, right? Now let's look at the last part of the problem, that is 143 divided by 110. Now let's look at the prime factors of 110. 110 can be written as 2 times 55. 55 can be written as 5 times 11. Now look at this. 2 times 5 times 11. All we wanted was 2 and 5, right? But not 11. Since 11 is there, we have to look at the prime factors for numerator also. 143 can be written as 11 times 13. You see, now you have 11 times 13, meaning, I can cancel both the 11s, numerator and denominator, right? That's what we are going to do now. 143 by 110 can be written as 11 times 13 divided by 2 times 5 times 11. Let me cancel this 11 and this 11 so that I have 13 divided by 2 times 5. That is equal to 13 by 10, right? And since it is only having 2 power n, 5 power m form, we can say that 143 divided by 110 is a terminating decimal. Since it is a terminating decimal, we can write it in the decimal form easily. That is 143 divided by 110 is equal to 13 divided by 2 times 5, that is equal to 13 by 10. and that is equal to 1.3. So to answer the question, 143 divided by 110 is 1.3. Without doing actually the real division, we could get this answer with the help of theorem 1.1, right? First, we are looking at the denominator, whether it can be expressed in the form of 2 power n times 5 power m or not. Okay, if it is, then we go straight away and express the given ratio in the decimal form. If not, then what we do is we look at the numerator also and see whether the prime factors are, such that we can cancel some of the excess terms or all the excess terms apart from what you have here, 2 power n times 5 power m, right? Question number 4. The decimal form of some real numbers are given below. In each case, decide whether the number is a rational number or not. If it is rational and expressed in the form of p by q, what can you say about the prime factors of q? This is the question. We are given total 3 real numbers, right? And you are asked to say whether the given real numbers are rational numbers or not. For example, a given number is a rational number, then what can you say about the prime factors of its denominator q? That is a question. Got it? Now let's take a look at the first part of the problem, that is the number given is 43.123456789. Look at this number. After 9 there are no digits because we don't have something like dots put in. Here we have dots, right? It says that this particular one is going to be non-terminating. It goes on further, right? In this particular case also, since we have overbar, it means that it is also having non-terminating digits or decimal expansion. Here it says that it is a terminating decimal expansion, right? Let me write that. 43.123456789 is a terminating decimal. If it is a terminating decimal, we know that it can be written in the form of p by q, right? If it is a terminating decimal, we can write it as p by q, where q is going to have prime factors in the form of 2 power n 5 power m. This is the theorem. Let's take a look at the theorem. Let x be a rational number, right? We said that this is a rational number whose decimal expansion terminates, right? Then x can be expressed in the form of p by q. That's what we said. We can, since it is a terminating decimal, we can express this particular number in the form of p by q, right? Where p and q are co-prime numbers, right? Then the prime factorization of q is in the form of 2 power n 5 power m, where n and m are non-negative integers. So look at the question. It says that, can you say something about prime factors of q? This particular theorem is saying that prime factorization of q is in the form of 2 power n 5 power n, right? This is what we have to say. Since it is a terminating decimal, right? We said that it can be expressed in the form of p by q, and the q, which is the denominator, is in the form of 2 power n 5 power n, right? Let's write that. We can say that it can be expressed as a rational number p by q, and the prime factors of denominator q is of the form 2 power n 5 power m, where n and m are non-negative integers. This is what we are asked to discuss about, right? Now let's look at the second part of the problem, that is 0.120 1200 12000 and 124 times 0 and so on. When you have these dots, 3 dots, it means that it is a non-terminating, right? At the same time, look at this. I have 1 0 here after 1 2, then I have 2 zeros here, I have 3 zeros here, I have 4 zeros here. It means I can write 12 and 5 zeros, 12 and 6 zeros, 12 and 7 zeros, and so on, right? It means the given number is one, it is a non-terminating, and then it is a non-repeating, non-terminating and non-repeating decimal. The given decimal is a non-terminating decimal. That's what these three dots are saying. And when you look at this, there is nothing like periodic. It's like 1 to 0 is there, then you have 2 zeros after 12, then you have 3 zeros, you have 4 zeros, you can have 5 zeros, 6 zeros, 7 zeros, like that. It goes on, right? That's why we say that it is a non-terminating and non-repeating decimal. When you have non-terminating and non-repeating decimals, we cannot express them in the ratio of p by q, where p and q are integers, right? We say that it cannot be expressed as rational number. Please note this. Actually, this particular number is an irrational number. Please note this. But since the question is about whether it is a rational number or not, we say that it is not a rational number, right? If it is not a rational number, there is no point for you to say anything about prime factors of q, because we cannot express it in the form of p by q, first of all, right? Let's stop here and let's look at the third part of the problem. 0.43 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 with overbar. It means I can write 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 as many times. When you have these three dots, it means that it is a non-terminating decimal expansion, right? Look at this. These particular digits are repeating. That's why you have overbar here, right? That's why we say that it is a non-terminating but repeating decimal, right? We learned that non-terminating and repeating decimals can be expressed in the form of p by q, where p and q are integers, right? It means these are rational numbers. The given number is a rational number, right? Now, can you say, since it is a rational number, can you say something about what is q? Or can you say something about prime factors of q? For that, quickly recall this theorem. Let x equal to p by q be a rational number. It is already a rational number, the given number, right? Such that the prime factorization of q is not of the form 2 power n 5 power m, right? In that case, x has non-terminating and repeating decimal expansion. Got it? When you have non-terminating and repeating decimal expansion, the prime factors of q is not going to be in the form of 2 power n 5 power m. This is what you have to note. Let's write that. Prime factors of q are not in the form of 2 power n 5 power m, where n and m are non-negative integers. This not is important. When you have non-terminating but repeating decimals, prime factorization is not in the form of 2 power n 5 power m. Got it? I hope you like the video. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel Learn to Score. Thank you.